It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity, and this is an actual succulent tip of the day. Today I'm going to talk with you about how to protect and sustain your garden over the winter months. I'd like to thank Corona Tools for sponsoring this video, and if you are in the market for any really high quality tools right now, they are having an end of the year sale. Their stuff is up to 40% off. So head on over to their website. There is a link in the description. So yesterday I brought the crew up to our son's garden here in Claremont, California, and we did a big seasonal maintenance. Now I come up with Greg periodically, obviously, to visit and to spend time with our beautiful granddaughter Lucy, and I'll fill the green bin when I'm here. But there reaches a point, doesn't there? There reaches a tipping point when you need some help. So this garden has been in the ground for going on 3 years, which means that the majority of all of these plants have wintered once or twice already. So they're pretty well established. We're very fortunate here with the weather. There's very little real cold events. Now remember, when we talk about succulents and cacti and cold, we use the word hardy. Hardy means that the plant will withstand temperatures below freezing, which here in California, well, everywhere, but we use Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're going to have a night where it just kind of dips a little and then pops right back up, no worries. But if you are expecting cold temperatures overnight, or if you live in an area where you have cold temperatures in the 30s and 40s over an extended period of time, then you're going to want to come out and really consider protecting your plants. So the question is, at what point do you need to come out and protect, and what do you need to protect, and how are you going to protect them? So let's start with the basics. In the wintertime or in times of stress, succulents and cacti and many other types of plants go dormant. Now, dormancy in plants basically means that they're taking a break. They are not producing chlorophyll. They are not taking in nutrients. They are not photosynthesizing. They're just taking a break. So think about that. If you throw water on these plants or you fertilize these plants, are they going to do anything with those materials if they're taking a break? No. So that's something to be very mindful of. When you are laying your gardens out to begin with, these are things to think about. I think it's really important that you know the plants that you're planting and that you research them and that you know the names of the things that you're putting in the ground and what their concerns might be. In this particular garden, you can see that we have some large specimen type plants. Now, these are the ones that I would want to be particularly careful with should bad weather ensue, right? Because some of the littler things we can always replace, or just even do without. But like this big Dracaena Draco here, our Euphorbia trigona, our trichechii, our barrel cacti, there are some things that we would really prefer not to lose. So when we are installing the garden initially, it's really important that you prepare the soil. Because in the wintertime, if the ground stays wet, these plants, because they're taking a break, they're going to rot. These plants really require a dry out period in the winter time. So how can you achieve that? You achieve that by creating conditions that will drain very effectively. We like to mound, you know that. Aesthetically, getting those, the ebbs and the flows going is so important to the look of the garden, but it also creates a great environment for drainage. With the cactus specimens in particular, we will treat the holes with pumice. You can use decomposed granite. You can use gravels, mixing it with a airy, loamy soil. Put that down at the bottom and then plant your plant and then do native soil around the top. And that's just It's just a good practice that really pays off in the winter when these plants are looking for their dry out period, where the roots are nestled around that pumice and those drier materials, and the plant can breathe in through its roots and create circulation. So that's important. What happens if you didn't do that? If you didn't do that, if it's at all possible for you to move any of your plants out of the colder temperatures or get them up and into a pot, that would be advantageous for you as well. Now, air circulation, super important at all times of the year, isn't it? In the winter, it's very, very important because the more circulation you have with air, the faster the ground is going to dry out. Another way to keep your ground dry is to top dress with gravel. You know, we put down a couple of inches of gravel minimum on top of all of our plants. That also creates a barrier, doesn't it, between the moisture and the soil to create a drier environment. Plants out here get lots and lots of bright light, such as it exists in the wintertime, and they also get the benefit of all of the nice breezes. So we really don't have an issue with poor air circulation in this main garden here. Let me show you a spot where we do. This area over here, you can see, is more shady. It's more protected, and that is both a blessing and a curse. Now, in the summer months, blessing, right? It's not getting hammered by the sun. But in the wintertime, this area takes longer to dry out. So these little sensitive sedums and, you know, the plants that I call tapestry plants are at a greater risk of rotting because the soil doesn't dry out completely after an irrigation event. So I knew that going in, that this was going to be a little bit tricky in the winter, and I was, you know, expecting some casualties, frankly. But because the tapestry plants are a lot like annuals, right? They're inexpensive, they're plentiful. I thought, well, you know what? If I lose all of this soft stuff, I'll just replace it. It's totally worth it to me. I really wanted the vibe of the softer things in this area. To my delight, as you can see, they didn't die, and they are absolutely thriving in here. Now, I think it's important to note, too, that here in Claremont, California, in Los Angeles County, in Southern California, irrigation is subterranean drip, and it runs year-round. We don't ever turn it off because we live in a desert, and it's very dry, and it rarely ever rains. And when it does, barely penetrates the surface of the soil, especially with all this great layering of rock. So if you live in an area that is not as conducive as Southern California, and it's colder and it's darker and it's wetter, you very well may want to turn your water off from the point where that begins, maybe October, through February or March. And remember, plants are taking a break, right? So if you are concerned about your plants getting too wet in their dormancy periods, you can adjust your irrigation accordingly. But you have to use common sense or ask me, because if you live here in Claremont, in this area in Claremont and Los Angeles County, you can see that it hasn't impacted these plants negatively at all to be watered year-round. So what plants do you have in your garden that you need to concern yourself with specifically in the winter? There are some basic rules, but mostly just guidelines. For example, you know I love the Pilosoceras azuris. This is a gorgeous cactus that is not hardy. Remember what that means? It means if these temperatures drop below and are sustained below freezing for any length of time, she's gonna die. So this is one that I would consider covering in the event that we were going to have a weather event. Maybe overnight temperatures were going to drop and stay under freezing for the duration of the night. If it's just going to be 32 degrees, 33 degrees briefly for an hour or so, probably okay. Before she dies, she would just develop some damage. So even if if you don't get out there in time to cover her, she may not completely turn up her toes, but you will likely see some damage on her. So this is one you'll want to cover. Now, mangaves. Mangaves are all the rage right now, and we've got many different varieties in our son's garden here in Claremont. And for the most part, mangave are tough as nails, and these babies will be fine if temperatures hit freezing. They're not going to be fine for extended periods of time, like over an entire winter where the temperatures are in the teens or 20s. But if temperatures tend to drop, this would be a plant that I would consider to be semi-hardy, and some are fully hardy. So I would concern myself more with this than with that. Now the barrel cactus, the Echinocactus grissonii, again, this is kind of like the mangave in that it can take it a little bit. It's freezing, but then it isn't. So we're good. Again, extended periods of cold, maybe throw a blanket or cover this guy up. Some other concerns. This is another mangave. It's going to be fine. Also, this has been in the garden now for 3 years, and you can see it doesn't have a mark on it. It hasn't been affected by either the sun or the cold. And therefore, I'm not going to have my son concern himself with this at all. Now, I have another one of these in the garden that I just planted yesterday that's this big. And that one we will want to be a little concerned about because it's brand new and it hasn't had a chance to acclimate. So if you've put some plants in that have been in your garden for years and haven't shown any stress from cold weather, great. So, wow, that's great. I think I'm going to plant some new ones of the same thing because those are doing so good. Remember, if they haven't acclimated over a season, you might want to show them a little love until they get a chance to settle in. Mammillarias. This is another cactus that I love to use, and I have lost some of these. Another plant that you're going to want to concern yourselves with is the mammillaria. I have used many of these and have lost a few due to rot. So this is one that you'll want to be very mindful when you install to use your pumice. Okay, crassulas, you're going to lose them. If it gets cold and the temperatures drop below freezing for any extended period of time, you'll probably see these go. As you will also the little echeverias like these harmsii, any little sedums, or the fat plants, right? Any of your sedums, pachysedums, all of the ones that have the really fat leaves, that tissue in the cold can freeze, and then the plant just implodes and it turns into a melted mess. Disgusting. So that one's sensitive. Dazzlerian longissimum, medium. Not too sensitive. Alloferox, also medium. If it gets real cold for a long time, this will be scarred or damaged and can also blow up as well. The Trichechii family, again, can handle a little cold. It can dip down and dip. You do this at nights, you have no worries. But extended periods of cold can severely damage that plant. Agaves are, for the most part, pretty tough and can tolerate a little bit of cold. But there are exceptions to that. And this is kind of true of any variegated succulent. The variegated meaning two-toned, like this Aeonium sunburst that has the variegation in the 2 or more colors. Those are going to be more sensitive to cold, just by nature of their lifestyle. So these Aeoniums, very sensitive, and the agave variegatas, very, very sensitive. This mangave jaguar, like all mangaves, is pretty tough and isn't going to give us any grief if the temperatures get a little dicey. The Echeveria agavoides, all echeverias are very sensitive to frost, so must protect this plant. Here we have another little barrel cactus. That's going to be, pretty solid unless it gets real real dicey. The Euphorbia trigona here is one that'll take it, but it might scar, you know. So if you can cover even the tender tops with some protection, that might serve you well throughout the winter months. Speaking of protection, the best way to protect your plants from the cold is to cover them. And yeah, the big growers use actual frost cloth. If you don't have frost cloth, you don't have access to frost cloth, or you missed the boat and the freeze got on top of you before you could get said frost cloth, use household items. You can use paper bags. You can use blankets. The only thing that you want to avoid is plastic. Plastic can retain moisture, and remember we talked about that. We don't want these plants to be wet in the winter time. Use a product, burlap, something that breathes, something organic, not plastic. Plastic can also freeze, and if that plastic is touching the plant and it freezes, it will scar your plant. Another really fun tip, and one of my absolute favorites, if you're in an area where it's going to get real cold, meaning that freezing temperature is going to extend all night long or all day long, you can actually wrap your plants in the old school incandescent Christmas tree lights before you then cover it with a sheet or a blanket. It's a fun and festive way to keep your plants warm and toasty if it gets real cold. And there you have it. Steps to keep your cactus and succulents warm and safe throughout this holiday season. Do your very best to keep your soil dry. Do your very best to identify the plants that are going to be the most sensitive to the colder temperatures and cover them up with materials from home or with frost cloth. You should have great success with just the few tips that I've suggested to you today. Again, we want to give a special shout out to Corona Tools for sponsoring this video. And remember their holiday sale where things are up to 40% off while supplies last or through the end of the year. Check for the link in the description of this video. Thanks, guys.